This video will show you how to set up your registers in Fly Freely. Registers allow the chief remote pilot to manage the personnel and equipment that is able to be used on missions relating to a specific authority. To demonstrate, we'll look at a company operator's certificate. This one is an Australia-specific authority, but most countries have an equivalent. This authority has registers for both remote pilots and ARG-PA. Each register starts off as a blank table, as we have not yet added any remote pilots. The Procedures Library and Operations Manual columns are automatically included, because those documents are marked as required to be acknowledged on the authority. Additional columns can be added to the register using the button in the top right. Any pilots operating under this certificate must hold a remote pilot's license, so let's add that personal authority to the register. Now there is a CASA or EPL column, in addition to the two documents. Other personal authorities can be added to the register in the same way, based on your organizational requirements. For example, you might have an annual proficiency check for each remote pilot. Next, start adding personnel. Remember that only remote pilots who will be flying under this authority need to be added. For Australian operators, that means pilots listed on your Schedule 1. Select a remote pilot from the list and enter a start date. In this case, it should be the date on which that pilot was added to your operator certificate. In most cases, the status should be set to auto, which means that the app will check the register conditions and set the pilot's status accordingly. You can override this and manually set this pilot as pending, active, or suspended if needed. This pilot has been automatically set to pending. He has uploaded his remote pilot's license, but he has not yet made an acknowledgement of the required documents. Once he's done this, he'll automatically be set to active. Let's try adding another pilot. In this case, the pilot is automatically set to active, because she's fulfilled all of the conditions set out in the register. Currently, the software will allow pilots to plan and execute a mission, whether or not they are set as active, and it's up to the chief remote pilot to enforce any conditions placed on remote pilots. In the future, the chief remote pilot will have the option to enforce these register conditions automatically via the software. In our case, this means that Ben would not be able to plan or execute a mission until he has viewed and acknowledged the required documents, but Claire would be able to do so, as she has fulfilled all conditions. The other register on the operator's certificate authority is the ARG-PA register. Any ARG-PAs that are listed on your operator's certificate should be added to this register. In our example, the only condition set is that the ARG-PA must have a registration document uploaded. Depending on your requirements, you can add additional conditions, for example an annual inspection or insurance certificate. So far, only one of our ARG-PA meets this condition and is set to active. As with the remote pilot register, the software won't prevent you from using these ARG-PA, but the option to automatically enforce this register will be available in the future. If you have any questions in regards to setting up your organization's registers, please contact us at support@flyfreely.io.